But anyway, I hate to cook. And when my mom comes over, I usually do cook though, because she's there. So I cook like a big dinner, usually a big fancy dinner because I never cook. So I go all out when I do. The whole time that I'll be in the kitchen cooking, she's just constantly looking over my shoulder. Well, why are you doing it that way? Did you know on the Great British Baking Show, they do it this way? You should do it that way too. Oh, Gordon Ramsay says that you should cook your meat like this. So you should do it like this. Oh, why are you doing your dishes that way? Oh, you wash them all at the same time? Oh, that's weird. I guess you like stained stuff on your dishes. And that's how she talks too. She's really like passive aggressive. This is like a therapy session. My therapist, he's going to have so much to listen to. I remember one time, because my mom, like I said, she's super controlling. She thinks she knows everything about everything. She knows, how you're supposed to. I got two examples. Get your coffee, get your tea. Come on, let's sit down. We're really talking. We're venting about our moms here, okay? I know you're pausing the video and pretending that you're talking to me. I know you are. Right? I do that. Right? I'm not the only one that does that, right? Right? So, example one. When I was first moving out with my husband and we were looking for car insurance because I was getting off of my parents' insurance and getting mine. My mom said, okay, get this insurance. And I was like, well, my husband has Progressive. And if I get on and blah, blah, XYZ, I was like, I think that's what we're going to do. And I can't remember the reason. She was like, oh, okay. Well, if you want to pay more money every month, that's up to you. And that's how she talks. That really snarky, passive aggressive, really bitchy kind of thing. Another example that I have, I remember when I first started working, and I was getting like my W-2s, my taxes and all that kind of stuff done. When I would do my taxes, now I don't know, it could be one of two things because my parents are shitty people. One, when I would get my taxes done, I would get like nothing. Now I was starting off, okay? I think I was working for Albertsons at the time, which actually grocery chains, they're not bad places to work when you are first getting started. They pay pretty well and you have really good benefits. So I remember the very first year I got like my taxes done and I went with my parents to get them done. I got like $140 or something back. And I'm like, that seems really low. And my mom was like, oh, well, you have to pay a tax fee. And I felt like going, well, you would think that like my first time doing taxes, maybe you guys could pay it for me. But okay. But now that I'm older, I'm like, I wonder if they were taking some of my money. It wouldn't surprise me. And it was not uncommon for my parents to take my paycheck because I was still living at home. They would just take it. And this is what bothers me now that I'm a parent. Like all this stuff is like rushing over me because I'm like, oh my God, I'm a mom now. And I was so fucked up as a kid. I couldn't imagine doing any of this stuff to my daughter. Is they would take that money and they wouldn't use it for like groceries or to help rent or whatever that they've been doing for me my whole life anyway. It's not like I'm like this extra person that moved in when I turned 18. I'm still here, the same person. They would use it. I remember one time they used it to buy tickets to go on a cruise that I didn't get to go on. And one time they used it to put like a down payment on a new car. They used it one time to go gamble. So like that's what bothered me. They weren't taking my money because they needed it, because we need help financially. No, they were fucking gambling and going on cruises. After I had met my husband and we were getting our taxes done, I can't remember exactly when, but at some point, my husband started doing TurboTax, okay? And so when my husband was doing TurboTax, one year we got back $4,000 in our taxes. I remember even telling him, like, is that right? Because we were young. We still lived in an apartment. I'm like, you should just like commit like tax fraud or something. He's like, no, I don't know. This is what we got back. Well, my mom, I remember she found out. Now they've always gone to somebody to do their taxes. They've never done it on their own. My mom was like, oh, you shouldn't do that. That's not right. You're not getting back as much money as you should. And I felt like going, we got back $4,000 fucking dollars. That's the most that I've ever gotten back. And so she convinced us to go with her to their guy to get their taxes done. Now, mind you, nothing changed. Me and my husband still lived in the same apartment, still had the same bills, still worked in the same grocery business. We had done our own taxes, I think, for 2 or 3 years, respectively. We always got back a high, like $38,000 to $4,000. We went to their tax guy. We got back $1,400 fucking dollars. And I told my mom, I was like, what? That is ridiculously low. What did they take half of our money? She's like, oh, we have to pay the fee. And she'll tell everybody else, you need to do it this way. It's the right way. If you're doing it the other way, no, you're wrong. You're not right. I'm right. I'm always right. That's my mom in a nutshell. I'm always right. Never went to their tax person again. So another example of my mom being super controlling, and this happened just last weekend. So I was making, it was the cooking, it's cooking again. I was trying to make a copycat recipe with zuppa toscana. And I'm not a big fan of sausage. So I got ground turkey instead. And I was just going to try to flavor it like the spicy ground sausage that's in it. So we went ice skating, and when we got back, I told my mom, like, oh, this is what I'm making. She's like, oh, that sounds so good. And then she's like, well, how are you making it? And I told her, and she's like, you're not using the spicy ground sausage? And I was like, no, I don't like sausage. I'm not saying I do not fucking like sausage. I don't like sausage, Mom. I haven't liked sausage since I was like 10. That's never changed. Why can't you understand that I don't fucking like sausage? And she would still make things with sausage and make me, I don't get it. But anyway, like, no, I got ground turkey instead. And she was like, well, what recipe are you using? I'm like, I don't know, just a recipe I got off Pinterest. And she was like, well, I have a recipe. And I was just like, okay. And she was like, you should use my recipe. And I'm like, I'm just going to use the one I have. She didn't really say anything. And then I made the mistake, guys, of drinking. Okay. I have a weakness for margaritas, and I started making margaritas because usually when I cook, I like to drink, and that might be why my food is always really good. I don't know. When I drink, like I said, I don't like to cook, but when I do cook, I'm actually pretty good at it. And so when I don't know, I like to put music on, and my husband will usually put like video games. Him and my daughter will play video games, and we'll put music on, and I'll make a margarita and I cook. It's like an event when I cook because I never do. And my husband just called me over for a minute to be like, oh, let's play this game. It's called Bitches or whatever. It's a dice game where you roll the dice out and all that. My mom had brought it, and I was like, oh, okay. So I go over and I start playing. Well, if you've ever played, it's like a bunch of dice, and you're really kind of tuned into what you're doing because you have to get like as many sixes as you can. You have to try to roll, the highest on the dice so that you can get the lowest score. And then, so I'm like doing this, and I'm going like this, and I'm drinking margaritas, and I'm listening to music and all this kind of stuff. My music, which my mom hates, by the way, but sorry, I'm never going to change my music. Okay. Everybody that I like, she hates. Okay. I like Lady Gaga. I like BTS. I like Nicki Minaj, and I like Miley Cyrus. Those are my favorite artists. It's never going to change, Mom. I'm not turning off Nicki Minaj. I'm rolling, and I'm like rolling really good. And I pick up my cocktail and I turn around. She's fucking making the soup. She's making it. And I'm like, whoa, wait a minute, Mom, I can do that. She's like, no, honey, it's okay. I got it. Well, what do you think she did? She cooked the entire dinner her way with her recipe. And you know what? It was really fucking boring and bland because she didn't adjust it for the turkey. You seriously just went in the kitchen and you just made the dinner that I was going to make? Who does that? Who does that? If I was at a friend's house and they said they were making XYZ and I'm like, well, I don't like it that way. You should do it this way. First of all, they have every right to slap me upside the head if I ever did that. Second of all, I wouldn't go in their kitchen while their back is turned and make their dinner. It's about, tell me I'm not crazy. Tell me that this is a boundary. So many boundaries that my mom just fucking keeps crossing all the time. She just has the nerve to do it. Another thing that she does that is really kind of gross and that I've had to stop. My mom always kisses on the mouth. Now that is, I don't like that. And I know that there's a lot of families that kiss on the mouth, and that's fine. But for me, the only person I ever kiss on the mouth is my husband. I don't even kiss my own daughter on the mouth. To me, it's just inappropriate. I don't like it. Now, that's not me trying to come at any mommies that give their daughter a kiss on the mouth. I don't think that that's a bad thing. I really don't. I think the reason I see it as a bad thing is because my mom still tries to kiss me on the mouth now at 40. That's just how I feel. But my mom knows that I'm uncomfortable with it, and she still tries to, like when she goes in, because I'll like kiss the cheek, she'll try to turn her head and kiss my mouth. And I'm like, what the fuck? This is really weird. Like, why? You know I don't like it. And I always just try to kiss your cheek. But she always tries to turn her head to kiss my mouth. It's really fucking gross. She is incredibly competitive. and I don't enjoy playing games with her, honestly, because especially when we play like video games with my daughter, we'll sometimes like put the, the switch on and we'll play like Mario Party. My mom will like scream, like she's being murdered and get pissed off if things don't go her way with the video game. Now, my daughter is 10. She's very impressionable. So we're trying to teach her to be a good sport, to know how to lose with grace, to be a good, what is that called? Like a good winner, even when you win, to not be a bad winner. I don't really know the terms. But then my mom comes over and starts screaming and crying when she doesn't win. A grown woman, a grown-ass 55-year-old woman comes over and screams because she lost at Mario Party. And it rubs off on my daughter. And I feel like I shouldn't even have to pull her aside and say, Mom, please stop. Don't you think that you would, as a parent, just realize like, yeah, I can't act like this. And then my daughter, not that this has happened, but if my daughter turns around and she gets a pissy attitude during a game, my mom would have the nerve to tell her, you need to learn how to be a good sport. Are you serious?